So I've had a situation last couple of weeks where several customers have said to us that they're not actually going to buy a house, or at least they're going to put their plans on hold because property prices next year are going to come down by 30%. Now that's something that's never happened in the history of property values, such a massive decrease in a year. In fact, in 2008, property prices only came down by about 15 to 17%, and that's when the banks had no money to lend. Why this has come about is the Chief Finance Officer of the Nationwide made a statement, made a prediction or a forecast about what he thought was going to happen to property values next year. And what he said was, in a best case scenario, property prices will continue to increase, albeit at a much slower pace than what we've seen since COVID. Remember, as I've said to you on these videos previously, property prices increased by 20% since COVID alone, and that was never going to be sustainable. So in a best case scenario, they continue to go up. And in a worst case scenario, they go down, and if they go down, they could go down by as much as 30%. So in other words, he said absolutely nothing whatsoever. Now, unfortunately, this was covered in the mainstream press as property prices are going to plummet by 30%, and that's what people have taken as read. The OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, has said that property prices could come down by 9%, so a big disparity there. But remember, the OBR had said at the start of this year that people's mortgages that were coming up for renewal in 2023 were only going to go up by £600 a year. Grossly wrong. Okay, so what we found previously is all these forecasts tend to be wildly inaccurate, but a lot of people go off the headlines. The other thing is, a lot of this can be a case of scaremongering. So for example, when property prices were going up, this was billed as a disaster for first-time buyers who would never be able to afford to get onto the property ladder. No mention of homeowners who were sitting there watching their equity increase in their properties. Now the situation potentially could be reversed, and we might get a correction in the property values. All of a sudden now, it's a disaster for homeowners. No mention that it's actually quite good news for first-time buyers who are looking to get on the property ladder. So try and read the stories behind the headlines.